तमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Some people are raising hands. Are you just trying out the classroom? Or do you have a question? Or you can't hear what is happening? Huh? Of course, if you can't hear, you cannot even hear me say this. So anyway, I'm just going to hope that everything is all right. Lots of features are there. You can try out all of them. I think you can also clap or something. Don't, but I'm saying there is a way to do that. There appears to be a way to do that as well. So namaste and welcome to the first class of the Kaivalya Upanishad and also of the 1 month course. Yesterday we had a orientation, so that we are all turned around. Reoriented. Yeah. Orientation, I love this word because it brings one out of a state of disorientation. You see the difference? Yeah, you see so many hidden things in this. Yeah. So until one encounters the teaching, there is what? Disorientation. And therefore every teaching is an orientation. So today we have the first class of the Kaivalya Upanishad. And the Upanishads are the most ancient texts and they appear, here is a multiple choice, at the beginning, in the middle and at the end of the Vedas. What would you say?
At the end.
At the end, more or less. Always not at the end, sometimes in the middle also. Just to give the person a little wake-up call. Āśvalāyana Upanishad is in the Samhita portion, first in the middle of the Veda itself. And like that, 1 or 2 will be there in the middle as well. And so therefore, it comes at the end of the Veda. And the Veda itself is an ancient body of knowledge. And we are talking of BC, BC. Yeah. Dateless, timeless. And this body of knowledge, since it is the most ancient, does not belong, we cannot say it belongs to India or to a group of people who now call themselves Hindus. We cannot say that. How can you say that? Because, it pre-existed countries, it pre-existed nationalities, it pre-existed ethnicities, it pre-existed gender and all kinds of other divisions that we say, Gender also is a notion, like, this is a certain investment we have in acting a certain way. It is all these categories and divisions before they came into vogue. What was there was the Veda. And therefore, we cannot claim proprietorship of the Veda. You cannot say this is a Hindu property, keep off the Veda. And you cannot say this only belongs to India. Everybody, all the non-Indians are not allowed to study the Veda. You cannot say that. Because the Veda herself is a universally applicable to humanity. It is, if it is a property, which I am not sure it is, but if it can be called, if we can ask the question, if we can dare to ask the question, who does the Veda really belong to? It is meant for the entire humanity. regardless of any differences. So really speaking, the qualification to read the Veda, to study the Veda is a very simple thing. What do you have to be?
Human being.
You have to be a human being, at least this time around. More about that later. Yeah. You have to be a human being. Oh, but I have a monkey mind. Doesn't matter. At least you have been put in the human body enough to notice that the mind is not in sync with the body. So that itself is a qualification. It's wonderful. And so the Veda has her own way of saying what it is that the human being has to know. The word Veda means knowledge. So it has something to share. That is meant for the human being. This much we have to understand. It has something to share whose purpose is only for the human being. And when the Veda shares her wares, it is not like going to going to some kind of a fair, mela. They have nowadays they have Hindu mela. I think even in Atlanta they are having, like a smorgasbord, a buffet of all kinds of things. Spiritual fest, a mela. So here is something and here is something else and here is the third thing and there is what? Now there is the Veda also. But this is not. When the Veda shares what she has to say, it is not like a buffet of all other things and then Veda is one more dish. What she dishes out is one more thing. No. What the Veda gives is not available anywhere else. This we have to understand. Like for example, how to have better memory, So many things are available, correct? You can take ginkgo pills. And if you take one today, then perhaps we'll be lucky for the Sanskrit class tomorrow. You can take gotu kola, all these are herbs which increase the memory supposedly, But here the Veda offers something. It's all about means and ends. It offers something that nothing else offers. There is a whole prayer for memory. Medha Suktam. And if you remember to chant it every day, you remember to chant it every day, and memory comes. Yeah. Who doesn't want memory? Everybody wants to, better memory. One way to gain the memory, see, there are so many other, worldly ways to gain memory. They say you have to keep playing crosswords and that number crossword, Sudoku, and then your memory is better. But that is all just on the relative, level. And memory, when you take recourse to the Veda, it will give that which is hitam. Hitam means what? Beneficial, comforting. So that's why what the Veda shares for the humankind is utterly and completely and totally different from any other thing that you can find in the world. Like even if you take gotu kola or whatever it is, some people may be allergic, some people it will not suit. Yeah. But no one can say, I am allergic to the Veda. That is the beauty of the Veda. It transcends everything because all it wants is hitam for the benefit of humankind, a body of knowledge has been given so that the human beings live in this world happily. Hitam. So, but here again we have a little subjectivity. What is hitam for one person may not be hitam for another person, correct? Yeah. One person wants window open, another person wants everything shut as though one is living in a tomb. They just happen to be married, that's all. So how can you say this is hitam, Yeah, Bhagavan has his own ways of ensuring that the karma exhaustion takes place and everybody gets ready for knowledge. This is the only way. And so, how do you decide what is hitam? Because what is, it's very subjective, relative. That's why the Veda has a repertoire of all kinds of hitams for everybody. If somebody says, I want a child, that is hitam for me. Veda says, okay, have a child. How? Putra kameshtya yajeta putra kamaha. One who is desirous of having a child, do this ishti, this prayer, fire ritual, called Putra Kama Ishti, the fire ritual performed by those people who are desirous of having children. Yajeta, may this person worship in that particular way using this thing. And somebody says, no, forget child, I want money. I want wealth. And in those days, wealth was counted in gold and cattle. So I want lots of cattle, I want lots of wealth, I want gold, I want land, because land is needed to feed the cattle. If somebody were to say that, then there are rituals to help bring about the wealth. And then what? Of course, once you get the wealth, what do you do with it? Spend it. Even if you don't spend it, it gets spent. Yeah. Money is something that has to be protected from itself. Really. It's a very strange thing. And so, then you have to do this yajna again. So, wealth, and somebody says, okay, forget children, forget wealth, what I want is health. There is myriad of rituals for health. So many, all kinds of rituals are there for health. And regardless, so this way, regardless of what one seeks, the Veda has a general desire to do hitam. And that's why the Veda is a very bulky thing. Why? Because everybody's concept of hitam varies from place to place, from time to time, and from person to person, and also in the same person from time to time. Yeah, yesterday I did Putra Kameshti. Yesterday means a few years ago. To have children. And then what? Now they are teenagers. Where can I send them? This is what it is. I wish I had not done that. So this way the person also keeps changing. There is this constant, The hitam keeps shifting. It's a shady, shifting hitam in the mind of the seeker of the hitam. It's a shady hitam, it's a shifting hitam, it's a problematic hitam, a troublesome hitam. The Veda, like 1,000 functional mothers. Yeah, I have to add the word functional these days. Yeah. I mean, one loving mother is, so wonderful to have. But multiply her by 1,000. And that is the hitam you get by following the Veda. And so, this whole, that's why it's a bulky body of knowledge, which until very recently was transmitted from teacher to disciple. How? Ear to mouth. From the mouth of the teacher to the ear of the disciple, who then became the teacher. From the mouth of that teacher to the ear of the next disciple. Even today it is taught like that. If you go to the Vedic Gurukulas, no books are allowed. Chanting the Suktam with the help of the book is a very recent phenomenon. And even now in the rural areas, everything is retained here. Which is why I say you need Medha Shakti. Medha means memory. The brain cells have to activate. And so to hold this body of knowledge in the head, in this tiny little head, the entire Veda resides. And if you start chanting it today, you can still chant it non-stop for the next 10 days and not run out of it. This is what it is. This is the glory of the Veda. It is so bulky, such a huge, cornucopia of goodness for humanity. An assemblage of nothing but what is hitam. Because the people's wants are so many and so varied. And when we look closely, the wants do not stop in this life. After having secured a good life, what does one want to do? Secure a place in the afterlife also. Reserve a seat. Now here itself it's hard enough. If you want to go to a concert, everything you have to call and buy a ticket in advance before it gets sold out. Now heaven also can get overpopulated and someday they can say, no, this is the cut-off point. You cannot go there, you have to wait your turn. They may say that. Indra may just suddenly say, okay, heaven is become, Indra is the king of heaven. Yeah, abhi nahi, doors closed, pearly gates closed. You can say that. So therefore, the desire for what happens after this life is also there. And sometimes it eats the person. When in old age, abhi kya hoga? Mera kya hoga? What will happen to me? After I finish this life, where am I going to go? And wherever I go, am I going to be happy? How can I assure that I'm going to be happy? So there is a great chinta, a worry about the afterlife. This is only in the human mind, as we will see later. And so the Veda provides for afterlife as well. This is again hitam. Swarga kamaha somena yajet. The ones who are desirous of going to a nice place in the afterlife, because there are some not so nice places also. Veda again is the first book to talk about heaven, Swarga. And we have various levels. 7 up and 7 down. Down means what? Up and down in relation to what? In relation to earth. Bhuloka, where we are from our standpoint. Up means nicer situations. Better, best. And then little less better, less better, less better, and then worst. And they have names also. 7 up, Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, Mahaha, Tapaha, Janaha, Satyam. These are the 7 wonderful spheres. They are like parallel universes. It's not going up or down, it's not directional, it's not dependent upon space. And then less comfortable situations. What are there? Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Dharatala, Rasatala, Mahatala, Patala. Yes. These are the 7 not so comfortable fields of experience. And then the 7 wonderful fields of experience. And how to go is also given. Oh, so I just have to do a yajna called Soma Yajna. First of all, that Soma juice is extinct, okay? Yeah, understand, please. So that's all. I can, put some other, juice. I'll put mango juice. So what if Soma juice is not there? So mango juice ena yajeta, So I will use mango juice and I will say, because in the Hindu ritual, substitutions are possible, and in fact that is what they do, This miserable fellow praying every morning, you're supposed to have all kinds of things to put on the altar of Bhagavan. You offer a seat, you offer water to wash the feet, you offer a new dress. Where this person is going to bring new dress every day? Yeah. And offer jewelry, where this person is going to bring jewelry. So the miserable jiva prays like this. Vastrartham akshatan samarpayami. Oh Lord, I have to go to office right now. So in place of clothes, new clothes, please accept these few grains of tinted yellow rice with turmeric, akshata. And then what? Abharanartham, jewelry, where will I bring, O Lord? Akshatan samarpayami. Again, the same tinted yellow rice I am going to offer to you at your feet. Upavitartham, instead of giving you the sacred thread, what am I going to do? Same old, same as usual, And this is what we do, This is what the substitutions are possible. So instead of Soma juice, I can do mango juice, and I can do the yajna. Will that assure me a place in this heaven? That is not the whole thing. Why? Because the Veda also gives another very important hitam. What is that? The concept of papa and punya. It is not enough to do some yajna and then think that you will go to heaven. That is gate crashing, Yeah. You can't say, oh, I'm saved, what kind of saviorship is this? I'm saved and I can go to heaven. You cannot say that. So therefore what? Therefore, you have to just understand that while the yajna can help propel, it can fuel and help you propel to get to a comfortable situation in the afterlife. Really speaking, that which takes you to Swarga or a heaven-like place is what? Your own karma, your own actions, whose fruits you reap elsewhere. This is how will you know? No, that's what I'm saying, that what the Veda offers is not understood by any other means. How do you know that there is papa? How do you know that there is punya? And how do you know that punya currency can be expended elsewhere? Not just here. It's like traveler's checks. You don't have to have the currency of that particular country. If you go to Ghana, if you go to Thailand, both the places you don't have to even have the local currency. Both the places you can take American Express traveler's checks and you can spend it there. Just like that, the punya, the good karma done in this life is what? Is the traveler's checks for extraterrestrial traveler. Yeah, this is what it is. So the Veda gives this whole body wonderful. It's all about means and ends. Some ends are known, the means are not known. Child is known, I want a child is known. How to have it is not known because nothing is working. And how? What is the connection between this Putra Kameshti Yajna, this fire ritual called Putra Kameshti, whose name is, and this, this particular event of having children? What is the connection? Unknown. Sometimes the end is unknown. That there is Swarga is, it's unknown. Whether it is there, how will I like it? How will I go? Everything. But the means are known. You have to do good here. Correct? So unknown means known ends, unknown ends, known means, and sometimes unknown means unknown ends. So like this, the Veda ensures that humankind is benefited. That's all she wants, is the benefit of humanity. And therefore it's not the property of one individual, one community, one nationality, and one set of, one religious doctrine. It's not really a doctrine. It is applicable to everybody. We have to see this. It's not it's not a doctrine, it's not a dogma. It's something that is applicable to the whole, universe. It's a universal body of knowledge. So that is what we call Veda. And there are 4 in number. And scientists have spent a lot of time, historians, social scientists have spent a lot of time trying to understand which came first, which came second, based on so many things. We don't bother with that. Just like the Big Bang, you don't say what came first. It just emerged from that one thing. Now they are calling it God matter, whatever it is, doesn't matter. From that one thing, everything including time and space emerged, which is exactly what the Veda says. The Veda reveals the cause of the universe as well. And the same Veda is later on by a sage, an honored teacher in the tradition. One of the earliest links that we have, Bhagavan Vyasa, was divided into 4. That one body called Veda was divided into 4 and given to various people to keep, so that it would not be lost and it would be kept through families. Each one chanting and teaching the children, and then the children growing up and teaching their children. That is how it is survived. That is how it has survived 1,000 and odd years of colonization. That is the main reason that the Dharma is intact, today. And so the Veda was divided into 4 for ease of maintaining with families. And even now, the traditional way of introducing oneself is that person will say, aham yajushakhadyai, so and so, I am this kind of a person, this is my name, this is my lineage, and I am the student of the Yajurveda. They may not even be knowing one mantra, more than one, they will know Gayatri, that's all. But still you can claim that you are the student of the Yajurveda. This is a big thing. This itself shows how beautifully it has been maintained in families. That you can have the temerity to say, I am the student of the Yajurveda. This is fantastic. And so, the 4 Vedas, Rik, Yajus, Sama and Atharva, they all have the same purport. Sometimes they have interchangeable mantras, and each one has a certain beauty. Rig Veda is hymns, a lot of prayers and hymns for invoking various, devatas, and invoking Bhagavan to ward off obstacles of various kinds. Then we have, so we have a lot of hymns in the Rig Veda. Yajur Veda has a lot of fire sacrifices, it's very famous for that. Same Rig mantras are also used in the fire sacrifice. Then we have something called Sama Veda, where the mantras are set to music. Very beautiful. And then we have Atharva Veda, and Atharva Veda is very well known for how to have a say over the elements, the forces of nature, so to speak, which trouble us, like drought. What else is there? Drought is too much floods like is happening in the Himalayas. Everything is just washing away, so many people just gone, Everything has become an island. This is another consequence of this warming temperatures. So therefore, this is the, so these are the 4 Vedas. And generally we have a 2-fold division in each Veda, between what is called the first portion of Veda, which is generally known by the name Veda. And then what is the other one? Vedanta. Abba, yes. Yes. Vedanta. Vedanta means what? That which appears at the end of the Veda. So this is very, this is a technical division in the tradition, Veda and Vedanta. But it's also a very funny division. Nobody says, the book and the last chapter. Do you say that?
No.
What are you studying? I'm studying just the last chapter. I'm not interested in the book. What are you studying? I'm studying everything except the last chapter. Nobody talks like that. Here this sounds funny. So, but here there is a reason for that. Why? Because it has the hitam, it is all based on hitam. Remember, I introduced the concept of hitam. Hitam means that which is eminently good for me, eminently beneficial, and eminently, that which gives me comfortable. Correct? And I also told you so many hitams, so little time, and that's why so many hitams and so many mantras, so many hitams, so many kinds of spells, and so many hitams, so many rituals. I told you all that, Then why this division between the first portion and the last portion of the Vedas? We can say that the first portion of the Veda talks about hitam in the relative sense, and the last portion of the Veda reveals that which is absolute hitam. Now which one do you want? What a choice. Really, And of course the Indians will say, I want both. Because I don't want to settle for less than anything other than absolutely everything. And so I want both. Yeah. Little bit of karma, little bit of moksha. Little bit of this, little bit of that. Thoda ye, thoda wo. You have to have a balanced diet. All the food groups have to be there. Yeah. More about that in a bit. So what do I mean by relative and absolute hitam? Relative hitam, which the first portion of the Veda reveals, is hitam all right. There is nothing ahitam about it. What is ahitam? Not beneficial. There's nothing ahitam about, wanting a child, wanting a good partner in life, wanting money, preferably lots of it, and wanting all kinds of things. What is ahitam about it? There is nothing wrong, nothing ahitam. But it is relative in two senses. Why? Because, as I said, even with regard to the same person, it keeps varying. What I want today, I may not necessarily want tomorrow. And what I wanted yesterday, and I really fought for it, I do not want now. Now I am fighting to get rid of it. So even for the same person, the hitam is a shifting hitam. We already alluded to it. So that's why it is relative, because what satisfies now may not satisfy later on. And the second reason it is relative is because every hitam that I call relative is finite. That's another reason. First is it keeps shifting. What I want today I may not want tomorrow. And what I had yesterday, I want to get rid of today. And second thing is, even if I still want it, it keeps depleting. Correct? Yeah. Karmana upattam hitam. The hitam that is gained by karma, by action, is what? Finite. Nashyati. Karmana upattam nashyati. Vyati. Vyati means it's expended. Vyaya takes place. So you cannot say it is avyaya, means it will never change. That's why one keeps going to the temple. Oh, may my loved ones be okay. And Vishnu is sitting there, or standing there or lying down there. And then Lakshmi says, didn't this fellow pray for the same thing yesterday? Praying again today? So, what is this going on? That's because the prayer of yesterday is for what? Yesterday. Just like cooking, you cannot say I have cooked for what? For the whole lifespan. Yeah. Maybe some people do that, They put food in the freezer. Everyday food. Cook once a year and eat the rest of the year, So hopefully that's not the case. But here we are talking of a hitam that is finite. Vyeti, it keeps getting expended. And why is the hitam finite? Again, there are two reasons. One is it is dependent on your action. Karmana uparjitam, that which is gained by action is finite. Result of action, finite. Why? Action. The means are finite. The means used to gain the hitam, carefully listen, are finite. And so the ends are what? Finite again. Finite means lead to finite ends. This is a no-brainer, really speaking. So that is why again it is relative, because it keeps one spinning the wheel of action all the time. And in order to keep spinning the wheels of action, one identifies primarily as an actor. An actor to whom things are happening. An actor means karta. Karta to whom things are happening means that karta becomes what? Bhokta. And why does one act? In order to enjoy the fruits of one's labor, correct? Nobody acts without needing to enjoy the fruits of one's labor. Somebody is cooking. Why are you cooking? Are you going to eat? No. What are you cooking? Breakfast. So after that, what will you do? I will cook lunch. After that, what will you do? Oh, then it will be time to make dinner. So when are you going to eat? I'm not going to eat at all. Oh, so you invited some people and you're doing annadanam so that you can enjoy. No. Nobody does that, correct? Yeah. Prayojanam anuddishya, Adi Shankara says. Mandopi karmani na pravartate. Without having a certain purpose, nobody acts. Even the dullest person will not engage in action. They will say, why do I have to do this? What will I get out of this? So the karta becomes a karta for what? For enjoyment, for bhoga. So then karta really doesn't want to be karta. Karta wants to be bhokta. Yeah. Karta is not for the sake of karta. Karta is a karta because the karta wants to enjoy the fruits of the labor. Karta wants to become bhokta. Okay. That's very simple. Then what happens? Chapter 2, karta becomes bhokta. Then what? Ahitam. Why ahitam? You followed all the rules. You did everything. How come you don't like what came? I don't know. Something happened. One step was missed in the yajna. What step? I had everything except ghee. Yeah. It is the main thing, okay? I had the fire, I had everything, I just didn't have ghee. I ran out, it's okay. It's not okay. That is why you didn't get the fruits of your action. So then now Bhokta is crying. Why? Because I wanted this and I did not get this. Theek hai Baba, okay. Then what are you going to do? In fact, not only did I not get what I wanted, I got something that I didn't want in the process. Because this is action, the fruits of action. As the Bhagavad Gita says, everybody knows this, are not in our hands. We act, but we are not what? the producers of the fruit of action. And this again, the Bhagavad Gita, which is just like the Veda says, Bhagavad Gita also is borrowed knowledge from the Veda alone. Veda says you are not in charge of the fruits of action. The results of action, come from elsewhere, not from the Karta. If the Karta could produce whatever she wanted, then we would not have this 1 month course. And even if we had it, nobody would come. Why? Because there is no problem. Yeah, Karta becomes Bhokta, then everything is fine. But here Karta becomes Bhokta, and what kind of a Bhokta? A sad Bhokta. Yeah, sad Ananda, There was one Swami Sadananda. How do you spell in English? Sad Ananda, yeah. So, Karta becomes Bhokta. And then the Bhokta is not happy. And of course you can have two scenarios, because you can tell me, why are you always looking at the wrong side? Why don't you say the Bhokta is happy? Okay, take that. Bhokta theek hai, khush hai, very happy. Bhokta is very happy, but then for how long is the Bhokta happy? Until the fruit of the karma, of the action runs out. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And when is it going to run out? Sooner than you think. Especially when you're having a good time. Correct? That's why you say, I don't even know how time went. I had a small sliver of clarity. I had a small sliver of happiness. I had a small bounty of, something wonderful. And then, poof, it's gone. Then what do I have to do? Therein lies the question. So the Bhokta then, either because one is unhappy with the results, or one is happy with the results but the results are exhausted, becomes what? Again? Karta. Karta, karta, karta. Bhokta, bhokta, bhokta. Karta means doer. Bhokta means the one who enjoys the fruit of the doing. Or the undoing. I'm giving hints now. Yeah. So then, the first portion of the Veda, that's why there is a distinction. Because the first portion of the Veda keeps the chakra going. What is this chakra? Karta, bhukta, karta, bhukta. Chakra means cycle. Yeah. Karta, oh, tired of karta. Okay, bhokta. Karta, 5 days a week. Bhokta, weekend. Again what? Karta, during the week. Bhokta, during the weekend. Karta, 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 whole year. And then yearly vacation, summer holidays. Bhokta, bhokta, bhokta. Then again karta, karta, karta. Bhokta, bhokta, bhokta. Karta, bhokta, bhokta, karta, karta, bhokta, bhokta, karta. Bhokta, 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 karta. Karta, 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 bhokta. Depending on one's karma. And the karta thinks, because everybody wants to really be the bhokta in a good way. Of wonderful. Bhokta of hitam. Yeah, that's what they want. When? All the time. So the karta, one karta thinks, the neighbor. I work for, 11.5 months of the year, and I get a miserable 15 days off from the job. And 15 days mein kya hota hai? I need 1 week to recover from that 11 months, and then another week by the time I need to get ready for the next 11 months, it's gone. But look at this neighbor. 1 month they work, and 11 months they enjoy. This is not fair, because the one karta is looking at the other karta. Or rather, one karta is looking at the next bhokta. Yeah. This is how the samsara chakra. Yesterday I told you the definition of samsara. Samyak sarati, that which moves without any help from you. So one karta looks at another bhokta and says, this is not fair at all. Why is this happening? How can I be in that one's place? Oh God, please let me be in that one's place. And sudden lottery lag gayi, they say. Lag gayi means I won the lottery. So the karta that prayed with a fervent heart, did some yajnas, Shri Sukta Homa, got lottery. And then what? Are they happy being a bhokta? No. Then had to go to the doctor to get an anti-anxiety prescription, medication. Why? Because so much money, not used to it. What will I do? Who to give, who not to give, and how to protect it, where to keep it. How, even the banks you cannot trust these days. Should I keep it under the mattress? In fact, what under the mattress? That money itself is the mattress. How to do this? What kind of things? And so much, even though they say $8 million, 10 million jackpot, out of that, you get only 3 million, because by the time all the taxes and gift tax and this tax and that tax, you feel taxed. And so the bhokta becomes very worried. Even when one thinks this. And in order to take care of the worry, one has to become a karta again. So the first portion of the Veda is hitam, all right. Both of them are hitam. But the relative hitam, what do I mean, is that it keeps one in the cycle karta, bhokta, 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 bhokta, karta, karta, bhokta, bhokta, karta, 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 bhokta, 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 karta, bhokta, 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 karta, bhokta. And that is what is samsara. Doer and supposedly bhokta means enjoyer. I don't buy that. Yeah. No one in samsara is enjoying samsara. Experiencer of the doing. Doer, experiencer. Sometimes little bit of happiness and little bit of calmness, little bit of whatever. So this is why it is relative hitam. And this is why we need to make a distinction between the first and the second portion of the Veda. The second portion is more than just the relative hitam. It provides what is called the absolute hitam. But how can you say there is an absolute hitam? How can you say that, that all that everyone wants is one and the same thing? You can. Why? Because if you look at what people want, they don't want that thing in itself which they think they want. They want the happiness that is derived from, they think is derived from that thing. So money, who wants for the sake of money, tell me? Nobody wants money for the sake of money. What do you want money? So that I can feel secure. Why do you want to be secure? So I can be happy. Why do I want children? So I can be happy. Why do you want to get married? So I think I can be happy. Why do you want to go on vacation? So I can relax. Why do you want to relax? So I can be happy. So really there is an absolute, there is the relative level of the specific things. But really speaking, there is an absolute hitam. And what is that hitam? That happiness. The comfort is the absolute hitam. So now again, let me go back to that question I posed earlier. What do you want to choose? Relative or absolute? Absolutely the absolute. In the absolute, is the relative included or not? It has to be included. But if I make the error of choosing the relative, then what happens? I miss the absolute. And when I miss the absolute,
absolutely miserable.
I'm absolutely miserable. That's what it is. Ihaiva ched avedit atha tasya satyam asti. If you know here and now, not in some other loka. What? That you are neither the karta nor the bhokta. You are that upon which the kartritvam, the doership, is an as though superimposition. The experiencership, the bhoktritvam, is an as though superimposition. If you know, the one who knows here and now, for that person, the absolute has been gained. Satyam means here absolute. Natediha avedit. The person who doesn't know this. Mahati vinashti, great destruction. Infinite loss. The loss of the infinite is infinite loss. The loss of the absolute is absolutely a big loss. If I miss the infinite, I am relegated to becoming an infinite seeker. I seek infinitely, which is not a good thing. Therefore, what do I have to do? I have to become the seeker of the absolute, the seeker of the infinite. If I am the seeker of the infinite, if I just turn the words around slightly even, if I become the seeker of the infinite, then what? My quest is finite. I don't have to keep seeking. So, if I am the seeker of the infinite, then the quest is finite. The infinite, as it's revealed by the last portion of the Veda, not something to seek, something which is already you. That is the greatest hitam in knowing that. Nowhere to go, nothing to do, nothing to strive for, nothing to lose, nothing to gain, nothing to worry about. You are the whole. This is the message that is the absolute hitam, absolutely for everybody. But what if I don't want it? What if I'm, maybe majority people want hitam. Maybe I'm happy being a seeker. Maybe I'm okay being a seeker. Is there such a thing? Happy being a seeker? No. You can only be happy being a seeker if you are getting what you are seeking. But if you are not getting what you are seeking, how can you be happy being a seeker? And especially when what you are seeking is happiness itself. How can you be happy being a seeker when you are seeking happiness? And that happiness is the most elusive thing, because the moment you catch it, it goes. When you strive to seek it, you strive to keep a hold of it. It is like the wind. You can't keep the wind stationary in one place. That is why the name for wind is anila. Na nilayati. That which doesn't stay in one place. We can even name happiness. Sukha also is anila. It seems to be asthira and anila. It doesn't stay in one place, and neither does it, always with you. You don't see that. It doesn't stay in one place. It keeps shifting from thing to thing. And so therefore, one is in a quandary of how to seek, what is it that I'm seeking? And what is wrong with what I'm seeking? And how perhaps I'm seeking something that doesn't need to be sought, And that is the subject matter of the last portion of the Veda, the absolute hitam, which everybody wants. That is why I said it's a universal human goal, which is what is called moksha. Moksha is nothing but the gain of happiness. And so what this last chapter has to say about oneself, we will see after taking a short break. So we have been listening for one hour. So take a little break and come back in 15 minutes. We will reconvene wherever you are, whichever time zone. 15 minutes from now, we will reconvene. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.